Folks, we have on the line today Emilio Castillo from Tower Power. Emilio, are you there?
I'm here, Matt. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for joining me on the Iceman's All Request Show today. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm here in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's a beautiful sunny day, and I'm loving it.
The reason why I'm interviewing you today is you have an upcoming tour date in Cleveland, Ohio at the House of Blues on May 18th.
That's correct. We're coming over there to the home of the Hall of Fame.
One of the things I wanted to ask you and start off the interview with is Tower Power started in 1968. You guys have been around a long, long time. What do you attribute your longevity and your staying power with today's audience to?
Well, a few things. Number one, we have extremely loyal fans. I don't know if you've ever met a Tower Power fan, but they're different from the others. They're very committed and over the top, and we're very blessed to have them. The other thing that we've done over the years is we learned a long time ago to make our music selfishly. We make it to please ourselves, and because we notice that when we do that, the people seem to enjoy what we've done. That makes it really easy for us to get up and go to work every day, because we're making music that we love the way we love to play it. So the combination of those two things has kept us going quite a while now.
Now, how exactly, for people that don't know your style of music, how would you describe it?
I would describe it as high-energy, emotional soul music.
One of my favorite hits for Tower Power is actually What Is Hip. And how I got familiar with Tower Power is What Is Hip was featured in a Drew Carey episode back in the late 90s. How did that come about?
Well, we were playing at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles, and Drew Carey came to the show. I remember also Sinbad was there, and I was kind of starstruck. It's like, wow, these guys are here, and turned out Drew Carey was a big fan of the band. And the next thing I know, they did this episode where he starts the episode with a dance routine with the whole cast dancing to What Is Hip. And they wound up using that clip of them dancing to What Is Hip on airlines across the nation, and they reran it on TV many, many times. It was a really well-known clip, so we were very blessed to have that happen.
I also see that your last record was released in 2009. Do you guys have any plans of releasing a record anytime soon, or are you working on a record?
Well, actually, we have a new record out right now. We have a live DVD of the 40th anniversary celebration that we did at the Fillmore Auditorium, and along with that is a live CD, so it's a 2-disc package. And on that concert, we went back to where we got our start, which was the Fillmore in San Francisco, and we invited all the past members from over the years that have ever been in the band. And let me tell you, many of them came, and there was probably 30 to 40 extra people besides the 10-member current band. And we filmed it for 3.5 hours. We did a 3.5-hour musical show and filmed it. We had some guests, Sam Moore from Sam and Dave came and sang, and a lot of our old, more famous members like Richard Elliott and Chester Thompson and Nick Gillette and Greg Adams. They all came and played. And so it's all on this DVD. And then, like I say, we included a live CD with that. But we are getting ready to put together an original music CD very soon. And we're actually getting the material together now.
What could you tell me, what is one of your favorite memories of touring and being a part of the band? And also, on the other side of that, what is your worst memory?
Well, I've had a lot of favorite memories, I can tell you that. One of them that I talk about a lot is when we opened for Aretha Franklin at the Fillmore West, when she recorded that album, Aretha Live at the Fillmore. I remember we did the whole weekend with her, and at one point, I think it was on the third night, I was backstage, and I was standing in the doorway of the Fillmore West, and here comes Aretha Franklin wearing that white dress with the white turban that became the photo of that album. And she comes in, and she kind of took me by surprise. So I turned sideways to let her through the door, and she was a pretty buxom lady, and she turned sideways and slid in, and we wound up being nose to nose in the doorway. And she looks at me and she goes, "Tower Power, my favorite band." And I just kind of melted down to the floor. That's one of my favorite moments.
That has to make you feel good. One question that one of my listeners is asking me right now that I have not asked yet is, how did Tower Power come together? You are the original member, or you formed the group, correct?
Yeah, I'm the leader of the band. I started the band in 1968, and we were a bunch of kids in a neighborhood in a suburb in the East Bay of the Bay Area, and we were in a town called Fremont. So it was me and my brother, and then eventually, within 1 year, we got our current bass player, Francis Rocco Prestia, and it was also the guitar player around the corner, Jody Lopez, and it was the four of us, really, that started. And then shortly after that, we were playing a gig at the Alameda County Fair, and that's where I met my songwriting partner and baritone sax player, Stephen Doc Kupka. So it's kind of like, just friends in the neighborhood at first.
That's awesome. A lot of bands today, of course, start in the garage, so that's similar to that, I would assume.
That was the time when the Beatles had just come out, and that's what kids were doing. That was literally the beginning of garage bands, and we had gotten in a little bit of trouble. And my father said, you better figure out something that's going to keep you off the street, or you're never coming out of that room again. And we said, well, we want to play music, Dad. And he put us in the car, and he took us to the music store and said, whatever you want. And I pointed to the sax, and my brother pointed to the drums, and we were off to the races.
Is there anything that you have not accomplished that you'd like to accomplish in your career that you haven't already?
Well, yeah, there's several things, to tell you the truth. One of them, one of my biggest desires is at some point to be asked to do the soundtrack for an entire film. And I don't mean just get a few Tower Power songs in there. I'm talking about writing original music for a high-quality film with, really top actors. Some years ago, I went to an Eric Clapton concert at the Forum, and Robert Cray had introduced me to Eric Clapton, and while I was standing there, Sting was there. And Robert Cray introduced me to Sting, and when Robert told him, this is Emilio Castillo from Tower of Power, Sting looked at me and he says, Tower of Power? He says, that's a great band. And I go, oh, thank you very much. He says, before I formed the Police, he said, I had a Tower of Power clone band. And he said, we used to do Only So Much Oil in the Ground. And I said, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, that's really a great song. I go, oh, thanks a lot. And so over the years, I've always thought it would be really great to re-record Only So Much Oil in the Ground, our band with Sting, And as the years go by and the oil and energy crisis gets worse and worse, the song becomes more pertinent, and he's more of a sort of a political figure these days in terms of his statement, and I just thought that would be great to someday do that.
It's ironic because I had the opportunity of interviewing Janice Ian a couple of years ago, and she said the person that she'd like to play with before she ends her career is, in fact, Sting. So that's an interesting story that you also would like to work with Sting, too.
I think that the thing about Sting is that he's so creative musically, and he's so active. I mean, you look at him here, he's a healthy guy, he's in the prime of life, and he's not a young man, but he looks very young and very vibrant, and I believe it's because he's so active in his creativity, and that appeals to me, and we're a very musical band, and I think we'd get along well musically.
If our fans want to get in touch with you, say on Facebook, MySpace, iTunes, or if they want to buy your material, how would they go about doing so?
We're everywhere. We have towerpower.com. Our website is very active. We're hooked up with all of the social networking, Facebook, all of it. And then also, online you can order all of our products on Amazon. If you go to Amazon and you type in Soul, the first thing that comes up is our new DVD and our last CD, Great American Soul Book, and then right under it is like the Tower Power 30-year retrospective and all the other albums, and plus we're in the stores as well.
All right. Once again, we had the opportunity to talk with Emilio Castillo of Tower Power. Thank you very much for joining us today, and good luck to your appearance in Cleveland on May 18th at the House of Blues.
Thanks for having me, Matt.
All right. Have a great day.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.